Hey, disciples, welcome to another small group Sunday as Kurt wraps up his series on Together as Family. I want to think about that some more as we strive to grow together as disciples because God is a family that creates families. Kurt taught us that from Genesis 1 a few weeks ago, and you just read about Jesus doing it, creating a whole new family and risking his life to do it. Jesus' community of disciples is his family. Think about it like this. What does Jesus call God? Father, right? And what does Jesus and what does Paul and what do they call us as Christians? They call us brothers and sisters. The Greek word is adelphoi, and it's used 342 times in the New Testament. That's how our relationship over and over and over again is defined, yours and mine, in the church as family. That's got to be, with that level of usage, that's got to be Jesus' dominant idea for what kind of community Jesus has in mind. Now, if you think about it, there are all sorts of communities. You know, your neighbors make a community, sports teams make a community, fandoms make a community. You and your coworkers form a sort of community. Me and my dad, we used to go to this Greasy Spoon diner every morning before he would take me to drop me off for school or take me to work with him, and we formed kind of a close-knit little breakfast community there at that diner. Jesus' decision to redefine his community, his family, is one of the most radical ideas to come from Jesus, and it helped lead to his execution. But in order to appreciate that how radical that idea is, in order to understand, to really get why that crazy sentence makes sense, we need to absorb a couple ideas about the world of Jesus. First off, anthropologists talk about these ideas called strong group and weak group societies. You can Google it later, but weak group societies are focused on and emphasize individualism, while in strong group societies, people understand themselves to be a member of the group and responsible to the group for their actions, for their career, their development, their destiny, their lives in general. The group has priority over the individual member. Now, by contrast, we live in a culture where it's just assumed that our individual preferences and desires, our autonomy or self-determination, where my happiness is more important than whatever group I identify with. Jesus's world was a strong group world, and within that world, your primary group was your family. Now, second, get this. The ancient world was patrilineal. Don't get hung up on the word. Just understand that family was defined by the father's line alone. That's why there's no last names in the Bible. Why Jesus Christ means King Jesus, not Jesus, the son of Joseph and Mary Christ. No, in the ancient world, there was Jesus, son of Joseph, Simon, son of Jonah, Elihu, the son of Barachel, etc., etc. Family is defined by father alone, not by marriage. And in a patrilineal culture, your spouse technically is not actually part of your family. In the ancient world, most marriages, the vast majority, were arranged based upon what was thought best for those two family groups. So it's much more an alliance than a romantic union. And what this led to, and I promise there's a big idea coming. I promise it's coming. What this led to was that your closest relationship in this culture, your most intimate emotional bond, was likely with your sibling, not your spouse. In the same way that we in the West just assume, like we don't even think about it, we just know that our most intimate relationship is or will be with your significant other, your fiance, your spouse. If you were an ancient Mediterranean, you would just assume, you would just know that your closest emotional relationship would be with your brother or your sister. Now, think about what Jesus just said. What's the number one way Jesus and every other New Testament writer describes God's people? That's right. Adelphoi, siblings, brothers and sisters, family. In the story you just read, Jesus appears to be the oldest living male in his family line. And we read these events at the end of Mark 3 as a neat idea. Okay, cool, Jesus, whatever. We dig it. We're part of the family. We live in a weak group society, so it's just no big deal. In Jesus's world, that was unthinkable. Jesus is responsible before God and before his community for the futures, the fates of his mother and his brothers and sisters. Think about how radical and life-changing this strong group calling can be for us as disciples as you work through today's questions together. I hope that this devotional has been a blessing to you, and I hope this time together, this small group Sunday time together, is a blessing as well. God bless you, and have a great rest of your week.